From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and Friends podcast. Good stuff, man. We got a spicy one tonight. As Coach Dee would say, we got a messy one tonight. A real messy one. We're talking about walking that fine line. Trying to handle and help and assisting an ex who's actually married. So let's talk about it, man. Let's bring up Coach Dee here. And I'll bring up on how this topic came on, how this topic came about, rather. We're scrolling through social media and I want to play a clip once to get D in here. So let's talk about it one sec. Hey.
Hey there, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you? How's things?
Things are great. I was trying to get off. I was on the phone. So TikTok is what you make of it, right? So as you know, I love artisan jewelry, right? Jewelry straight from the artist. So I was on TikTok and I saw this lady with this beautiful turquoise necklace. And I was like, let me find out where she got that from. So I sent her a message and come to find out, she is the aunt of a Navajo silversmith and his wife who make jewelry.
Okay.
Right? They don't have social media. So I purchased my jewelry via phone call and text message. So she sends me the pictures. I choose which pieces I want and then Zeller. So we're kind of techie, but we're not. And so this piece here is from them. It's beautiful. So yeah. So
give them a shout out. Give them a shout out. What's the website?
They don't have a website. It's all by phone call.
Oh wow.
Yep. So it's Bessie and Andrew Henry. So they're in Canyon de Chelly, Arizona, on the Navajo Nation.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So she's been teaching me a little Navajo. So they don't have any social media or anything. So she calls me every couple of weeks what they've made. And so I make some purchases and I get absolutely beautiful one-of-a-kind jewelry and they get money straight to them with no middleman. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Good stuff. That's what I'm talking about. We got a messy one here tonight. I'm going to play some a video of what I was doing. Sometimes I go through social media, just checking to see, because they definitely going to give us content.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be on anything that we'll get content from it.
Messy there.
Exactly. This one, actually, I was a tad bit confused. So we're going to push back and get down to it so the folks can know exactly what we're talking about. But we're navigating a fine line, how to handle helping an ex who's actually married. So we're going to play this and we'll be right back, folks.
So y'all, please help me understand this. My lights got turned off. So I called my baby's father and asked him if he could get my lights turned on for me. He said no, because I have a husband and that's his responsibility. How is that his responsibility to pay my lights to get turned back on after they get turned off? That you have kids that stay here. You don't care about your kids. I understand that I have a husband, granted, don't beat me up over it, but we fell on hard times. So as my baby's father, I feel like you're supposed to pick up the slack. So you rather for your kids to be in the dark than to help your baby mother get her lights turned back on? What if I didn't have a husband? Would you have helped me then? These men is crazy, sir.
Okay. Thoughts?
So that's a couple of different situations. That's not just helping an ex who's married. There's children involved. So that brings a whole different dynamic.
I get that.
So here's the thing. She's just messy to begin with because it's not. Why would she say it's not her husband's responsibility? It's her husband's responsibility.
That's what confused me. Right?
Yeah, I think that's a really bad example of helping an ex, though. Because here's the thing: once you have kids involved,
Right.
if you're a parent and if the other parent falls on hard times, I
You
fully
gotta come
think
through.
you
You
help
gotta
them
come.
out,
Yeah, you
right?
gotta come through.
Because those are your babies.
I totally get it. I totally get
Yeah.
that.
So
I
I
totally
think
get it.
I think that's a completely different situation than an ex calls you up, their car broke down, and they need to
Right,
get
right, right.
towed.
Yeah, no, we're talking about like essential things, life things, right? But
Yeah.
still, my problem with that one is she was appalled that this guy said no.
Yeah, that's a bad example though, man. Because I guarantee she does not believe in boundaries and communication either, right? Because if you're going to help an ex who's married,
Right.
that's two things that have to be in place: is boundaries and communication,
Correct.
right? Because if you don't have boundaries, then what's done in the dark always comes to light. I
Always.
always say it always comes up, right? So I'll give you an example. I have my ex-husband, when he told
Mhm.
his ex-girlfriend that we were getting married, she got on the phone. She's like, "Oh, I know it's hard to be away from home, and um, he said that I'll always be his princess." I'm like, "Girl, I spent 18 years in the army. I'm not attached to my mother by an umbilical cord like you are."
Right,
I
right,
said,
right.
"And you may be the princess, but there is a queen in town now. I think you
That's
might
a
remember that."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
she was offended. I'm like, "Yeah, because she doesn't have boundaries or" so I firmly believe
Honestly,
you could be friends with exes, and you can
I
help
I,
exes
tru-
out.
I truly believe that. And I
Yeah,
give an example here, right? Now with me, with this situation with having that bleed and whatnot and what have you. Teresa and I remain friends till this day. Once we got over
yeah,
the hump of the separation and divorce and all that stuff, we remain friends until this day. So, you know, I don't see anything wrong with helping an ex. I don't. I really
mhm,
don't. But you do have to have those boundaries. You have to know where those boundaries are.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I got to keep it 100 with you. If she ever fell on something hard times, I'd be the first there to help her out. That's
yeah,
how we are. That's how we get
yeah,
down. Like with my situation, when I became paralyzed, hospitalized, and all that stuff, and dealing with certain things in life, dealing with this recovery, that girl took up my slack, picked my slack up with my kid,
yeah,
with no problem. And she actually suggested that. So, of
mhm,
course, I would help her out. I would assist her. I wouldn't ask her, well, what's going on with your husband? That's just not the type of relationship she and I have. And we
yeah,
do have boundaries there. It's a friendship, you know.
yeah, and
So, but,
I think you have to be communicating with like, if you're sneaking around and you don't talk to their
yeah,
spouse,
absolutely.
because
Yeah.
everybody knows that their spouse has that one friend that you don't trust as far as you can throw them
I
because they're
tell you something
sneaky.
so funny though. The people that because we both lost friends in that marriage. Once that marriage
Mhm,
was split, some friends went that way, the other friends went that way. But one thing I could tell you, we don't discuss one another with those friends. We don't.
mhm, yeah,
Nobody has to know how close we are, whatever, because it's nobody's business. We still parent a child,
right,
co-parent a child. But anyway, but I wouldn't have any issues assisting, and she definitely wouldn't have any issues assisting me, even
yeah.
though she's married. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
here's the thing: when you're healed, people don't understand that even if you break up, you can still be adults.
One more time for the people in the back who didn't hear you.
If you break up, you can still be adults. Like
Exactly. That's the
my
whole
ex,
thing about it.
like I want my ex to be successful and be happy. I want him to eat. I just don't want to eat with him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, live your best life. That's what I want for everybody. But
That's good.
there's some people who are like, "Well, Dee, you got hurt." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't say I like him. I just said I don't want him to fail." Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm all about boundaries and communication. If you have boundaries, you have communication, you're good, right? But the problem is people don't communicate and they don't maintain healthy boundaries. And so that's when it gets messy. That's when they're
That's
doing things
right.
behind their spouse's back, or they're not telling them what's going on, or stuff like that. But I always have another rule: boundaries, communication, and don't lend money you can't afford to lose.
Boom. There you go right there. There
Because
you go right
you know how I am with money. If I lend somebody money, you tell me I'm going to have it by Tuesday.
there. You can be
You
gone
better have it
Tuesday.
by Tuesday because D will be asking you for it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Well, as promised, I want to touch on, speaking of Slash, she's in the comment section, but I want to touch on 3 bullet points he brought up when I was having a conversation with him.
Okay, let me do the Slash says, Grand Rising Melanie Peoples, greeting Princess Coach D and Mr. Epic. Good evening to you, Mr. Slash.
Slash, what up, Slash? So 3 points I wanted to touch on what he brought up to me during the conversation. He said it was based on accountability, responsibility, or disability. As far as the topic goes, right? Depends on what we're talking about, accountability and what have you. As far as with the young lady that the video I just played, I think she got a whole bunch of issues. Has nothing to do with the ex that she's asking the money from.
Yeah,
something's going on with her and that guy.
Yeah, that's a whole other different problem.
Exactly.
Because I understand if you and your husband are on hard times and you have children with somebody, you would hey, listen, I'm running hard times. The lights getting shut off. Can you help me out until whatever?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But that's an adult conversation. When she says my husband's not responsible, then we're not having adult conversations, obviously.
At all.
So I understand why he said no.
And I got to be honest with you, man. Like for me personally, right? And you know how I feel about my kids, my daughters. I am in love with my daughters, and I wouldn't want it to get to them that their mother was in a situation and their dad didn't help out.
Yeah.
Didn't assist her. You know what I'm saying? You got to sometimes you have to take your emotions out, depending on the relationship between the exes. But I wouldn't want my daughters looking at me like they're like, damn, Dad, I mean, what's up?
Well, that's because you don't use child support as a control item.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And all too often you see that, like, anytime you see somebody go, I want the child support on a card so I know exactly where it's been, that is control.
Yeah, I gotta give my ex-wife. Exactly. I gotta give my ex-wife a shout out, man.
Yeah.
Teresa, I gotta give her a shout out. When this first took place with me, first thing she said, she went into action.
Yeah.
She co-piloted that plane, as we always talk about on the show. If my plane go down, can you co-pilot? And we're not even together. She's not even my wife anymore. She's like, listen, don't even worry about little Bud. Don't worry about Kennedy. I got this over here. I'm gonna take care of your side. I got you. Period. There was no other questions. She said, I got you. So don't even worry about that. I'm gonna take care of Kennedy.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was about not even a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah, because that's what parents do.
Exactly.
That's what healthy, healed adult parents do, right? I was watching the social. I read the socials just because there's so much going on now to keep up with. Because I live near the Beltway, so most of the insider news is online. It's not in the news. But here's the thing: I see so many people like, "Oh, I want to know what you spend your money on," and then one lady came on. She goes, "Sir, you give me $37 a week."
Right.
37. What do you think? Where do you think $37 is going? Because it ain't paying the bills.
Yeah, we never had a problem with like child support things or anything like that. In the state of Michigan, when we actually, file for separation, the courts automatically, it's called Friends of the Court. They automatically get involved. It doesn't matter how much money y'all got. They get involved. If the child is a toddler, she was at that time, little Bud was maybe 3 or 4 years old, something like that. So the Friends of the Court had to get involved, but we went to the Friends of the Court saying, hey, we're good. So nothing, you have to enforce anything over on this end at all. So child support has never been a problem for Teresa and I at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So when this took place, she was like, I got you. Don't even worry about that. You just focus on the recovery. So she's part of the bright spot in my recovery process because I didn't have to worry about that because she was taking care of little Bud.
Yeah. But you know what? But that's because he's healthy and all that stuff. Slash asked a question. He said, was she posting on socials responsibility shaming her ex? Actually, she was more shaming herself and her husband than anything else.
That's the way I looked at it. I was like, damn, she's embarrassing herself.
Like, why would you post that on, like, that means you're not having an adult conversation with either your husband or your baby or your child's father.
Exactly.
Right?
And to me, his response, to be honest with you, his response was like he was the adult in the room without beating him.
I don't know. Because it seemed a little petty on his side too. right?
Well, I mean, that's
if your
sometimes men do that. Sometimes
if your baby doesn't have lights, your baby don't have lights. No
that's
matter
true.
who's
But
responsible, right?
exactly. My suggestion would have been like, "Hey, I'm coming to get my kids."
Yeah, but he didn't do that, did he? So
But she
they're all in the wrong.
there you go, there you go, there you go. But that was the adult thing to do if he was
Yeah,
uncomfortable, giving her something or giving her something on the lights or paying the lights for
yeah,
that matter.
yeah,
Hey, pack my kids' clothes and come and get them. Y'all work y'all stuff out.
yeah. But here's it, and
Simple.
it's always the same. If they can, they will, right?
Exactly.
They could, they would. That's like those poor babies that were abandoned in that the house for like 5 years.
That was over in Pontiac, Michigan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they give them to the grandfather. I'm like, you don't know your child don't have anything going on and not in school,
Exactly.
nothing for 5 years. Come on, don't
That's
tell
the
me
same
you're an
thing I was
involved
saying. Like,
father.
then where was the parents? Where was
Yeah,
the other family members?
so we
I'm
know
like,
where the mom was, but I'm like, hey, dad. They're like, oh well, she kept them from me. I'm like, I have seen men travel
yeah.
across continents to get to their children,
You
right?
already know. You already know.
So the whole, well, she was keeping from me. That's a piss poor excuse. And I'm sure there's plenty of men watching going, I would move mountains to get to my babies,
Bingo.
right?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
plenty of you have. There's lots of great daddies out there fighting for their kids.
Yeah,
So
I figured we do a messy one tonight because we got some great reviews, man, on last week's podcast. Made me so happy, man. Good stuff, man. Real good stuff.
here's the thing. People like honest, transparent, authentic conversation where we talk about what's going on in the world and relationships and stuff. And what's going on in the world can be really scary if you're not paying attention, and it's done purposely. So
Exactly.
here's the thing about what's going on. I know I'll get back to the other topic in a minute. But what I want people to realize is there's so much information coming at you at once on purpose. It's to cause chaos. So what happens is you don't pay attention to everything because there's so much. So what you have to do is absorb it in small bites so that you can process each individual thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
But I do find this will be quite surprising when I say this. Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, no, I'm good.
What I do find is that most of the people supporting those type of podcasts that we do on politics, they're from either over the pond or they're in the Netherlands, they're in Canada, it's Canadian. They got some US in there, but most people that are engaging with that type of content that we're pushing as far as on a political side is over the pond in European market.
Well, listen, what's going on? What goes on in the US affects a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like the US dollar is trading nationally. The stock market is dropping, and people don't realize it, but we are going to be in for a lot of pain pretty quick, right?
Yeah, they took a loss, I think, in 24 hours, what, 957 billion or something like that?
Yeah. I don't want to look at my 401k because I know I know it's hurting. But here's the thing. Musk is not an auditor. He is not auditing anything. In order to audit, you need accountants, right? He is cutting and not even doing a good job because he cut all those nuclear workers. So what's happening is a mirror to make it look like they're doing what people ask. But he's also charging us $10 million a week.
There you go. Bingo.
So think about that if you want to talk about draining the swamp and all that.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, man. So back to this topic, man. So I thought it was quite interesting that someone first would put something like that out on social media, something so personal. I'm like, wow. And then on top of that, making herself look crazy.
Yeah.
When she said that's not her husband's responsibility, I'm like, huh?
And here's the thing with social media. You have to take everything with a grain of salt because some people will put stuff out just to get hits because it's money, right? So the more controversial, the more likely people will respond, share, comment, like, whatever. So when you're looking at stuff, you have to realize, is this real life? Is this a skit? You have to go back and look through all of their videos that they're posting. Are they just crazy? Do they not have any home manners? Like, what's going on with them?
I think she was a little bit off. Something going on with that entire relationship.
Yeah. So, it's
That's different.
don't take everything on social media at 100%. Figure out who you're listening to and who you're watching first,
Absolutely.
and go from there. But yeah,
Absolutely.
but any relationship, and if you're helping anybody, it doesn't matter if it's a sibling, a spouse, a friend, a coworker. It's all about boundaries and communication.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Set the boundaries, set the communication, and if you're exchanging money, get it in writing.
That's it.
So that you have a contract.
That is it.
Right?
So
There's very few
that,
people you can do a verbal contract with.
Exactly. So walking that fine line, man, like I said in the opening, that, it could be a tough line. It depends on the situation, but in the end, it has to be boundaries and it has to be a clear understanding.
Yeah.
And everybody has to be adults in the room to, to assist without emotion. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, it just doesn't work, right? Because here's the thing: I always tell my agents that people get upset over family and finances, right? So family, love them, but not all family are healthy. So we have a lot of toxic family members. So if you don't have boundaries and communication, especially with toxic family members looking for favors, you're setting yourself up for trouble in the long run.
That's real talk.
Like, how many times have we seen stories on TikTok where they rented out a house to a cousin, and now the cousin won't move out, and they haven't paid rent for 6 months, and all this stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
But yeah.
Good stuff, man. Real good stuff. But I thought that was it was quite interesting, man. And you'd be surprised how many people go through that, though. I'm more than sure it's a lot. I'm more than sure it's a ton of them. Go to that situation where the ex is actually calling for assistance.
Yeah. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they ask for assistance, if you can help, I'm from Newfoundland. Newfoundland, we're very hospitable people. We will give you a shirt off your back if you ask us for us, right?
Right.
But here's the thing: if you're able to help somebody, then you do what's right because it's right.
Sure.
Right. And if you do it, just make sure you do it properly. Make sure there's communication. Make sure there's boundaries. Make sure if you paperwork, make sure there's paperwork. Don't co-sign for anybody. I always tell you, never co-sign. Just don't do that. Don't come back and, well, Dee, you said to help them. I'm like, there are limits to helping. We ain't co-signing for anybody, right?
My question would be, though, did she even have a conversation with her husband before even calling her ex?
Yeah.
That's another thing that's very important, because there are men who don't like that at all. Like, hey, listen, you don't need to be calling your ex for no assistance. I mean, nah.
Yeah, because if you're asking your husband what do you have that you can, she had a car, do they need this? Do they need the car? Do they have 2 cars? Can you sell the car? What's going on that would give you the money to pay the bill?
Exactly, something's going on, and I think that's common courtesy, and I think that's fairness. When if I'm going to speak with my ex, let's just say if I was married,
right,
I'm going to speak to my wife before I even approach my ex.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do. But speaking to my ex before, blindside my wife.
No, that's not right.
No, that's not good at all.
That's not respecting boundaries or communication. But
at all.
Yeah, it's we can be adults, or we don't have to be adults. But I tell you, life is a lot easier when you're a mature adult who's healed and can communicate with people, right? Because there's no misconceptions, no confusion. Everybody knows where everybody sits.
Totally different vibe, man. Different vibe.
Right?
Totally different vibe. And I could be honest with you. When I had a bitter mouth in the beginning of our split, my mouth was bitter. It's a totally different vibe when both parties are healed.
Yeah.
You could have adult conversations, not only about your child, about life or anything, and understand what the boundary is and keep it moving.
Yep. Life is too short to be holding grudges, right? Unless that person is toxic or abusive, and grudge away. You have my full support. I will help you be petty if you need it. Right? Because not everyone is healthy, and as you all know, I'm all for shutting out toxic people from your life, normalizing, removing toxicity.
That's the best
and
thing.
you know what? It's if you have babies with somebody, those babies should be coming first. So the conversation should have went differently, but you know,
Give
you got
an
to be
example
grounded
of how
out that
that conversation
conversation.
should have gone. Give an
What?
example. Give an example of how that conversation should have gone.
Well, the first thing is she would have had a discussion with her husband and see what they could do first, because going to the father would have been the last resort, right? And then
Yeah.
said, "Listen, this is a situation. I talked over my husband. We're wondering if you could help with X amount of dollars. We will get you back X date or whatever, right?"
Exactly.
And that's a different conversation than calling somebody up and go, "Hey, the lights are out. Your babies are not going to have any lights," and have boundaries and respect for people.
Right.
They don't. No one has to help anybody.
That's absolutely right.
And not everybody can.
The way she was coming across on the video, I could see why and how that guy would respond like that.
Yeah.
Totally different approach would have got great results. In my opinion.
I would have to see her other videos though to see if it's one of those shock value, get people talking type thing.
Right. For me personally, I believe she made a complete ass of herself. That's my opinion.
As we both know, people enjoy messy.
They really do.
People like messy. Our numbers go up either when two things happen: we argue or we get messy. Those are two times when numbers go up.
That's true.
Because people like to see me call you out for some odd reason. I don't know what the heck it's about.
Exactly. I don't know, man.
That's what it is. Yeah. Every time I tell you you're wrong, the numbers go up. I'm like, all right, y'all are weird. So, like, here's the thing with relationships, especially exes, and if you have kids, life lives. And too often we have messy divorces, and people's egos get involved, and they're trying to screw the other person out as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And people are just mean. So you see the meanness of some people, and it's shocking how mean they are. Right? But then what is it my friend said? The person you marry is not the person you divorce.
Absolutely.
They're two totally different people. And she's like,
I find that meanness after a breakup like that comes from unhealed people. Like they don't do the work, they refuse to do the work on themselves. And 9 times out of 10 they point the finger outward instead of inward.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and nothing has to do with them. It's all the other person, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, whatever.
Exactly. So I thought that was quite interesting. I threw this topic around to a couple of my friends, and one of my friends over dinner the other night, she was like, "Oh, that's going to be a quick one because it's self-explanatory." I'm like, "Yeah, it is, but you'd be, surprised of how many people do things like that, man, and expect something." You know what I'm saying? Her entire approach was wrong, in my opinion. Her entire approach was wrong.
But yeah, and here's the thing: we don't know any background information of what the two relationships are like.
Right.
So, yeah, I get it. I would have.
Go ahead.
Done differently, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So. That's cool. Cool.
Exes can be friends as long as there's boundaries, communication, respect. So, if they don't do it, if they don't do that, there'll be trouble.
A ton of people don't get that though, man. Like you have to have respect, openness and honesty. Because you always have to consider your partner, and how your partner feels about certain things when it comes to exes. A lot of people don't get down like, "Hey, we're not friendly bobbing over here." A lot of people don't. You can't be friendly like that.
Yeah, because there's too many people like, I was here first. I knew them longer. I'm like, I don't care. Right? You have your place. I have my place. Everybody has to respect their place.
That's it.
And set firm boundaries. Right? That's it. If you're tiptoeing crossing boundaries, then you're just going to get yourself into trouble. Absolutely. And it will be well deserved. I will never back somebody up who's crossing boundaries that were laid out, right? Because you knew better. You're grown, you know.
Exactly.
Right? But like you see it at weddings all the time. The mother-in-law, will invite an ex-girlfriend or something.
Right.
Just being messy. Like, why are you doing that? Why? Like, because this whole mother-in-law thing, I don't get this vindictive, mean mother-in-law. I'm like, your son is marrying somebody. You get a daughter out of the deal. Like, this should be a great thing. But I don't have a emotionally incestuous relationship with my son, so I don't understand it. Because I'd be like, I can't wait.
Hey, you're really being messy now.
My friend, it's true, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If you can't handle your son having a wife, that's a you problem, right? You've invested too much in that relationship with your child, and not in the relationship you should be investing in. Boundaries and communication, right? If you're inviting an ex-girlfriend to your son's wedding, you deserve
something
nothing.
wrong with that. Yeah, something wrong with that. Something wrong with
And I've been watching like these say yes for the dress. There are some messy adults out there. Like,
to me though, to me, I say I don't know how mothers got down like that or get down like that, but my mother was loyal, as you know. And my mother wouldn't even put me in a situation like this. She would think about me first, even if she liked the ex. Even if the ex said, "Hey, we're coming to Trent's wedding," my mother would be like, "No, you're not."
Did Trent invite you? Did his wife invite you?
Exactly.
Who invited you?
Hey, who invited you? No, you're not. I'm not doing that. So that's a little different. That's a little different.
Listen,
for, mother getting involved like that.
Listen, I am waiting impatiently for the next 30 years when Xavier finally gets married. So, because I'll have a daughter I go shopping with. I'm like, yeah, she better be a shopper because we're going shopping. So hope she knows that we spend all Xavier's money like he spent all mine. But relationship exes are always exes for a reason. I think too many people get caught up that you can still communicate with them. Like, you can still be friends with an ex as long as there are boundaries and respect and communication. But if they don't have boundaries, like if your ex is calling you at work to check in, why are you checking in, honey? Right?
Exactly. Here's the thing, though, man. When we talk about boundaries, they're so simple. Like, these are very simple things as far as when dealing with people in general, not just romantic relationships, friendships, or even family members, man. You have to have boundaries in certain things, But it's so simple. It's very simple.
1 second, I had to
A
plug
lot of people. You good?
Yeah, I had to plug my laptop in. Down there.
So that's it's so simple, but so hard for people to do as far as these boundaries, right? I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we got on the topic of being private, right? So she was like, I told her I'm very open with her and whatnot, blah, 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 whatever. She was like, no, you're not. She said, you are very private with everybody. And I got to thinking, right? I'm thinking about it. I was like, wow, you know what? She's absolutely right about that. I'm very private, but I look at it as a boundary on certain things. Like, I talk to you about certain things I don't talk about, to no one else. I mean, I'm just private like that.
Yeah.
But that's a boundary. And, some people take offense to that.
Listen, people don't like respect boundaries because they don't have boundaries.
Exactly.
Is a problem. And you'll find that if somebody doesn't have clear boundaries that they enforce themselves, they have trouble following other people's boundaries. Right? And it's a trauma response. That's why you have people pleasers, people who can't say no, people who are martyrs who will do everything and like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I have to do this and this. I'm like, just say no. No is a full sentence. Can you do this? No. Right? Boundaries. And here's the thing. If you don't have boundaries, you're going to get into trouble eventually.
Exactly.
Either you're going to be overworked because you're not saying no at work. You're going to be overwhelmed at home. You're either family life, social life, work life, it all gets affected if you don't have clear boundaries.
I got to be honest with you, man. I do and this actually I had this type of attitude as far as the one and done after this incident,
Yeah.
with the paralyzation and stuff like that. But I do the one and dones now. Like that's my boundary. Like when you show me the first time, that's a wrap.
Yeah. Well,
like, I don't do the second thing. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I'm notorious for not giving second chances.
Exactly.
Once you show me who you are, we're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a boundary. It's a hard boundary.
Yeah.
But I've learned my lesson over the years. One and done, man. You got to one and done them. That's it. That's it. Oh, you cross the line. Here you go.
That's why the saying. That's why the saying is "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you."
That's right.
Right. So, just boundaries. Listen, if I could tattoo boundaries across my forehead so people would get it, well, I wouldn't do that. But I would wear a shirt that says boundaries on it. But here, because it saves so much trouble, right? Your kids have boundaries. Your parents, your dogs, cats. This is why people don't like cats, because cats have very clear boundaries, and cats will tell you when you've crossed their boundary. They will swat at you. They will bite you. They'll scratch you. They'll be like, "I'm done. You move on, human."
That's right. Keep on moving. Exactly.
And that's why people don't like cats. I love cats because of how clear they are, right? And people are like, "What do you mean cats are clear?" I'm like, cats are very clear. They will love you to death, but they ain't playing games.
Yeah, I don't think they don't play so much games. I don't trust them.
Nah. I love them. Miss Ruby's downstairs. Xavier was bothering her, and she meowed at him first, gave him a warning, gave him a closed fist, because cats know when to open their claws, and patted him with her closed fist. I said, "You better leave her alone. She gave you a warning."
Yeah, she's gonna get you up. She's gonna hit you up.
Those teeth are sharp. Those are little kitten teeth. But
exactly.
It's all about boundaries. So he has to learn to respect her boundaries, and they'll be fine. But it's like your kids have boundaries, right? People talking about, I'm going to take their door down. They don't deserve privacy until they're adult. Why? Your child's not a human being, right? You're not going to let them change in private. They got to get dressed now with the door wide open.
Yeah, that's different.
Boundaries. If you are resorting to taking doors off, you've already lost the argument, and you need to have a seat and sort yourself out.
Yeah, that's a huge problem right there, man. If they're taking doors off, like what happened to you as a kid? Damn.
People still don't. People think that hitting kids is love. I'm like, yeah, you're loving to set them up for domestic abuse in the future, because you're teaching them violence. Violence is love. Love is not violent.
I won't subscribe to that. Nah, not at all. Not at all.
So
well, folks, as you know, that we're actually not streaming into anything Meta anymore. So that's why you don't see us on Instagram or Facebook as far as streaming into live streams. So we don't do Meta anymore at all. I don't like their policies. Just not interested in the way they do business. But as always, you can catch us Apple, Spotify. We still stream it to YouTube, Taylor Kennedy TV, at TayKen.com and all that good stuff. But as far as social sites, as far as Meta goes, we're not doing that anymore at all. So there's a ton of folks been looking for those live feeds into those social sites, and I'm like, nah, not gonna do it. No, not doing it. Not doing it at all. Meta does not play fair at all.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't. They don't play fair at all. So what else you got going on? We're on GuMbOtAlk for a few, and we'll get out of here.
1 second. My sister just sent me a text. My mom just had emergency surgery. 1 second.
Everything good?
She had an abscess in her bowel, so they used conventional surgery to remove. She's out of surgery at 7, staying in the hospital. She said my sister's going to see what options there are for care while she recovers.
She's stable, though, right?
No, my sister lives in. My sister's the only one that lives in the same town.
No. I said stable. She's stable.
What do you mean?
Your mother's.
Oh yeah, she's stable. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's just that's your only sister in Newfoundland, right?
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Okay.
Yeah, she's in Nova Scotia with my parents. My other sister's in Australia.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Speaking abroad, man, thanks to the Netherlands and Germany and the European markets for actually continuing to support us here on the conversation platform with Coach Dee and Shan, as well as the nutritious coach over in France, Catherine Gettu. Really appreciate all that support that's coming in for those programs right here on Take In Network. Good stuff, man. Really, really appreciate that. Again, you can subscribe to Apple, Spotify, Taylor Kennedy TV, at takein.com and all that good stuff. What you got going on, D?
Not much this week. What do I have going on this week? I have a lot of appointments. I have some Army stuff I got to take care of. I think that's pretty much it. I have some dentist appointments, bed appointments, just the usual stuff. I have to get those courses on my website. Shopify is just a hassle. So I got to figure out how to move everything over to my website. That way I can just direct people there and get all my money. But I'm trying to figure out the pricing because I want it to be affordable, but I also don't want to rip myself off.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of work. A lot of work went into it. So
you gotta make a profit.
Yeah, it's I got bills to pay. Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize when they're buying for small businesses, they're paying for math classes or in Xavier's case, learning Japanese through anime and stuff like that. So, especially nowadays with all these big companies following a certain person who shall not be named and getting rid of DEI.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. I don't know why people think DEI equals black, because DEI is all about, it's all about like having pods for breastfeeding mothers, having wheelchair accessible ramps, having, if you have non-traditional jobs, making sure everybody has a fair shake, right?
But it's so much easier for them to put it on the black man and put it on the black woman.
Yeah,
it's so much easier. It makes them feel better.
Yeah, only it makes them feel better is because they're racist. Let's just say it how it is.
You know what I mean.
DEI, only 4% of black people are hired through DEI.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you, those 4% are overqualified for the positions that they take.
There's a ton of folks, man. A ton of those folks, like, well, why? Wait a minute. Why are black folks upset by the term DEI? Because when we walk in the door, we're going proving ourselves. We have to. That's the environment that the system created.
Listen,
so we got to go in the door proving it. So of course it's offensive.
Yeah, work twice as hard to be half as good.
Exactly. Or to be better. So
listen, there was a thing. I was in a group, and there was a question. If you had to choose between going into a corporate conference room that had one white man or two white women, which would you choose? And boy, did white women get upset when black people chose the white man.
Really?
Yeah. This group almost broke up.
Oh,
but yeah, because they're like, why? I'm like, y'all don't understand how often you stab black women in the back. You will have us train our replacement and then tell us we were not good enough for the job that we just trained somebody for.
and the person that you train does not have experience, zero experience in that role. So yeah, man.
Listen, that's like the Joint Chiefs.
Don't get me started on that. I just trolled a whole bunch of people on Fox Thread in this group that I'm in with the local news is. So I just trolled the shit out of them. But go ahead.
Listen, they showed a picture of the Joint Chiefs and they circled the two that were fired, right? very highly qualified people.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This country has gone to hell in a handbasket so fast. And people are like, well, they were DEI hires. I'm like, that man has combat experience. He is a 4-star general.
Exactly.
And we had the chief of defense staff drinking whiskey live during a press conference.
Straight clown. Straight clown.
Talk about DEI.
But you know, is the thing, those pics, man, those pics, it just illuminates and magnifies their insecurities and inferiority to a black man, a black woman, and a woman, period.
Yeah. But it's even more than that, because Trump said he wanted generals like Hitler had. But Trump doesn't realize that Hitler's generals tried to kill him. But, you know, that's a whole other story. But
he was loyalist.
Here's the thing. It's a big setup. So what you do is in order to make a country, we're in the process of a coup. People pretend that that's not happening, but Elon Musk is unelected. He is pretty much running as president right now. With all the stuff that he's setting out, he has no authority to send emails to anybody to ask them to quantify their job.
Wasn't that crazy?
Quantify their job. To who? Who are you? You are unelected. You do not serve anyone. Right?
But that goes to show you, man. That goes to show you, though, you know.
And to have
for persuasion.
And to have talks with Putin over Ukraine and not invite Ukraine? Like, did you hear the conversation they had at CPAC, and the way they were talking about Europe?
That's
like they're currently going to isolate the United States. Like, it's so bad Canada doesn't even like you anymore. Like, come on. When you we had a friend of mine like, Dee, where do your loyalties lie? I'm like, y'all are being pretty stupid right now. You have a king who said he was king. I didn't vote for any king. I purposely don't live in a country where there is a king.
Can you imagine if Obama said that when he was president?
Listen, they got upset over Obama in a tan suit. Can you imagine if a child was in the Oval Office, told him he's not really president and to go away?
Exactly.
Like, children are at that age, children repeat what they hear, right? And if people didn't see that and go, oh my God, they really need to rethink of what they're looking at, because that was a very, very purposeful moment where he had no power.
It really was. Exactly.
He had no power.
Yeah, when you see the still photo of that guy looked very defeated.
Yeah. Because he owes Musk. There's no other reason why Musk has this much power right now.
Exactly.
So, you know, but yeah, I was like, and I have entirely too many friends who've been fired or getting ridiculous emails.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's unfortunate, man. Very unfortunate.
You know,
very unfortunate. Yeah. We're gonna close out early tonight. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said elections have consequences.
Absolutely.
When Shan and Urs coming back?
Shan actually is at some party. So she called me right before the show. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm missing it. So we'll catch you next week.
All right.
Yeah, we'll catch you.
No worries. The show will go on.
Absolutely. Well, Urs won't be coming back, so I don't know if I that. Nah.
No, you didn't. Oh, we can talk about that after then.
Absolutely.
No worries. But you know what? We'll have to think of something. Did you want to go back to politics next week, or do you want another messy topic?
We could do a messy, because she'll be back next week.
Okay.
We could do a messy. And then resume politics. Go ahead.
I was trying to remember what I saw. I'll have to look it up. I saw somebody sent me a TikTok. I'll have to find it again and send it over to see what you think. I can't remember what the subject matter was about, but I just remember it being messy.
Guys, we could do a messy one and resume, because they actually they're giving us a ton of content in Washington. I really don't want to miss it.
Oh,
I mean, they got a whole bunch of stuff that's going on that needs to be talked about.
Listen, if you want to follow what the Beltway Scoop, follow Alt Park Service, Alt National Parks.
Alt natural.
Yeah, and there's another one. The alts are the ones that were created during COVID.
Yeah.
And so they keep going, but they're all on follow them on Blue Sky.
Okay.
Because we don't support X
at all. Not at all. Not at all. So if you guys are familiar with Blue Sky, download the Blue Sky app. Get a lot of good stuff there, man.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff over there.
I'm thinking about doing a boundaries course on Blue Sky, like a.
And also another good one is Substack.
Yep.
Real good one, Substack. To stay informed, folks, you got to stay informed. Got to know what's going on out in the world, man. Because
Substack is where the thinkers are.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said Substack is where the thinkers are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because just because somebody has a microphone doesn't mean you should be listening to them.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people who, they're in echo chambers. Some of them are just spouting off what they want and they think will make them the most money, right? So you want transparent honesty, do it. So you'll always get transparent honesty with us. That's the way it is. No, nothing but authenticity.
Absolutely.
Will you disagree with me? Disagree with me. I love it. Send me an email, d.layler@gmail.com. Love it.
One thing you can say is it's going to be complete honesty, transparency, and just, hey, sometimes we'll step on those toes.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll, agree and go along with it.
And sometimes Trent's wrong, but
If I'm wrong, she's definitely going to call me out.
Yeah. But that's what people want. They want. Exactly. Oh, that's what it was. It was step parents. It was all about step parents.
Oh.
Because it was, but it was specifically about alpha males calling stepdads simps, taking care of somebody else's baby.
Oh,
that's what I think. That's what it was. So that's gonna be our messy subject. I don't really think it's messy because
that's gonna be interesting. We can do that. We can definitely do that.
Yeah,
that's quite messy.
Yeah. Stepdads, stepmoms are great. As long as there's boundaries of communication.
That's true.
We'll get into that more next week. But yeah, that's pretty much. Xavier starts Japanese classes the end of March, so we'll see how that goes.
Good stuff. Kennedie, I had Kennedie in that early on when she was a child, she was speaking Chinese. I don't think she even remembered anymore, but but yeah, it's a good thing, man. Getting a bilingual kid and teaching them different languages.
Oh yeah, he got. That's what happened. He got his middle school paper came through, so he's going to our local IB middle school, and he has advanced English. He's got to take because he tested out on the iReady for English.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, and did you see my post? He had his honor. Xavier got honor roll. He's had honor roll since kindergarten. He had the certificate in his backpack. He goes, "Oh, I got this for school yesterday," and pulls it out all crinkled up.
No big deal. No big deal.
Like, sure, it's an honor roll certificate. He's like,
no big deal. Yeah, no big deal.
So
this stuff is not new around here, so we got to keep it moving, man. Where's the snacks?
He's a good kid, so he's having some trouble with long division in algorithms or something. So we got to work on that. Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, support. Here's the thing I believe in. If your kids like something, support them in what they like. Xavier is not a sports kid, so he is never going to be forced to go on any sports team because that's not his thing.
Right.
But I will gladly pay for a Japanese class or a swimming class or a STEM class or anything that he loves. So.
Exactly. And it's okay for you to actually, allow your child to carve out his own thing.
Yeah. Let them figure out what they want to do. Exactly. Does he figure out halfway through the school year he didn't like violin? Yep. Did he stick it out? Yep. Has he played violin since? Nope.
Here with me, my father always allowed me to chart out my own thing, my own path. I was the snare drums. I wanted to play trumpet. I wanted to play the saxophone. And he bought all these things.
Yeah.
The trombone.
Yeah.
He bought all these things. I tried the trumpet. What else I tried? I tried a whole bunch of things, man. but he was with it.
Yeah. I wish Xavier has
every single instrument.
He has an amazing singing voice. I wish he would sing, like choir and everything, but he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, the world is missing.
The only thing I didn't try was a clarinet.
The clarinet?
The snare drum, the snare drum, the bass, all that stuff. I tried all that stuff.
I had piano. I was in the ukulele honor choir.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could play ukulele, save my life right now. But my sister played snare drums and glockenspiel in Air Cadets.
Yeah, but to me, snare was always the best.
Yeah, she was really good at that when she was younger, because she did all the tricks and everything like that. And I'm like, you know what? I am not coordinated enough for that. Exactly. I'm like, I need something that's easy. I can't. I don't have that eye hand coordination. But you know what? Especially now, there's so many things that kids have available to them. If like virtual classes.
It's true. It's so easy.
Amazing what they can do.
It's so easy.
So, and there's a lot of free stuff. Libraries have lots of free classes that you can find. Their YouTube, you can follow, TikTok. There's so many options if you don't have, if you can't afford to buy classes and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So, folks, we're going to get out of here. But before we go, always catch us again on TayKen.com, TayKen.com at Taylor Kennedy TV, or my favorite, Apple Podcasts. You can always catch us on Apple Podcasts daily, constantly streaming on the Taylor Kennedy TV channel on Apple. Good stuff, man, along with Spotify, Twitch. We're actually on Twitch as well. We stream live into Twitch as well. So check us out, man. Really appreciate it. Again, European market, I can't thank you guys enough for constantly coming in and engaging and checking it out and subscribing. So good stuff, man. Dee and I really appreciate that support from over the pond. So good stuff.
Yeah. People like to be informed, and overseas they like to be informed a lot more than they do at home. I hate to say it, but
I'm glad you said it. That's right. It was on the tip of my tongue, but hey,
listen. If worse comes to worse and you run me out of town, I got a Canadian passport. I'm good.
I'll be right behind you.
If ICE is looking for me, I'm legal. So
exactly.
People are petty now. People call you out. I'm like, I carry my passport with me. I don't trust nobody. So absolutely. You know what? So people it's gonna get rough, but we will get through it. The good always wins in the long run. So we will figure this out, and we will fight back, and we will get to where we need to be. But it's going to be tough. So plan your gardens out. Watch your budgets. Like, keep your friends and family close. If you have friends and family who are undocumented, then just be careful helping them and stuff like that. Because remember, the people who hid Anne Frank were breaking the law. The people who killed her were following it. And that's where we're at right now.
Exactly.
But I love you all. I got to get Mr. Man into a shower, because you know how 12-year-old boys are.
Exactly.
You're allergic to water.
As always, for you guys, if you need to be informed, always connect with us here on Taylor Kennedy TV, all on the platform. So we're always giving out information and whatnot. Our true strength is we talking politics. Yeah, we'll do the messy stuff as well, but we really love what's going on, within the community. So it's our responsibility to hold these big microphones and to keep you guys informed. So until next week, we'll be back with another messy one. Shannon will be back next week, and then it's off to talking politics again. So good stuff, man. Really appreciate it.
Bye, everyone. A bientôt. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen.
Stop that. This lady knows like 4 different languages.
Ciao.
You guys be epic.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.